All right, good afternoon and welcome to our channel. Today, I'd like to discuss how to find Section 8 landlords that accept the Housing Choice Voucher. And to do that, I have comprised a very definitive list of where you can find landlords nationwide. Now, keep in mind, this list will not include specifics to each state, okay? We can't go that far, being there's 50 states, but there should be enough information lent to you that you should be able to successfully navigate all options that are realistically available on the market. But before we get started, let me go ahead and switch screens for you guys. That way we can go over a little bit of initial information. My name is Jay. I am the owner of section8consulting.com. And as you can see here, I put up my phone number, company web address, as well as company email. If you guys are struggling to navigate the system or have other issues, you may want to reach out to my office for an appointment. We help people navigate the system. We've helped roughly 22,000 over the years. Though the appointments are not free and they do have a small cost, they're relatively inexpensive and extremely helpful. I think we've got a little over 500 reviews. All right, so let me bring you down to the information you guys are looking for. Keep in mind, I'm going to post some of it in the description, and the rest may have to be put in the comments section because it's rather large. I mean, there's 17 points on this. I'm only going to discuss about 7 or 8 to keep the video short, okay? For those that have learning disabilities, I'm going to bring up notes. That way you all can follow along, at least in the video. So here you can find number one, beginning with your housing authority. I don't always recommend this because a lot of the housing authorities own properties and they're not well managed. So that may not be the best option, but I'm going to present that in all fairness. Your public housing authority should be able to first contact, and then you take a look here at a current list of participating landlords, okay? Abatable rental unit listings and property owners who recently leased with voucher holders, landlord recruitment and housing search coordinators, units that recently passed inspection, apartments with your voucher payment standard, and mobile counseling and housing navigation assistance, security deposits, and also landlord incentive programs. Now, all that sounds fantastic if you can get the cooperation of your PHA, and in most cases, this is not going to probably be the greatest option, and you're probably not going to get the greatest responses from your PHA just because of how it's set up. But in all fairness, I did present it. Okay, so if you're looking for your local housing authority, I have included a federal database, which is a linkage to them. You'll be able to look up your housing authority and all housing authorities nationwide through this link. You can also additionally look at HUD's information for voucher holders here at the secondary link. Remember that the housing authority and the landlord's list may contain outdated information. That's very highly typical of HUD. That's why we're going to include some more current market options for you. Call every property and confirm availability, rent, and screening requirements and participation. Common sense. Number two, so, another rough mention is going to be the affordablehousingonline.com, which is the aforementioned Go Section 8. Look, not that easy to navigate, and it's kind of convoluted. And I also warn you not to click on ads. Make damn sure you don't click on their ads, okay? Just because they're a federally subsidized website by the U.S. government does not mean the ads on there are not scamish, and there are a lot of scams running in ads across a lot of housing authority websites, including the government. So Affordable Housing Online is one of the best nationwide starting points for voucher holders. It was formerly known as Go Section 8, as I mentioned, and you can tell right here just by the research I did on it, it is not the best option. Let's just be honest. Moving on from there, you can enter by zip code, county, bedroom size, rent, accessibility, and other housing needs. Even when the listing mentions Section 8, you need to confirm the owner is currently willing and to complete your housing authority's approval process. In many cases, more than half the links are dead and others are misleading. So just be careful, guys. Moving on, we're going to get to the better options here. But again, in all fairness, I'm going to present the freest and easiest options first. Number three, HUD's resource located. HUD's resource locator can identify HUD-assisted apartments and other affordable housing at resources.hud.gov. I give that probably a 5 out of 10. Important, the locator does not confirm vacancies or guarantee that a property is participating or accept a tenant-based voucher. It's important that you contact each property's management office and ask about current vacancies, waiting lists, income restrictions, and tenant-based housing vouchers. There could also be application fees and, of course, as always, credit and mental history requirements. So we move on to number 4. This is where it gets better, guys, and this is more recommended. So HUD specifically recommends using rental websites such as Affordable Housing Online, as before mentioned, Realtor.com, Apartments.com. You should also search for other popular rental platforms. They're not all created equally, but they're good runner-ups. So apartments.com, Zillow rentals, realtor.com rentals, Trulit rentals, hotpads, rent.com, apartment list, and rent cafe. Rent cafe is pretty reasonable, actually. Then you have Zumper, you have Redfin, rentals, Craigslist. I don't recommend Craigslist because the odds of getting involved in a scam or getting cheated out of your money is roughly 90%. Okay. Facebook Marketplace is probably among some of the best in terms of actually finding a private landlord. However, you've got about a 50-50 chance of getting scammed there. So always verify everything before you proceed. Okay. Everything in the world comes with scams. You just got to know how to weed out the trouble and then use good due diligence before ever giving a single penny to anybody. Okay. Searching using phrases such as and Section 8 accepted, housing vouchers accepted, HCB welcome, rental assistance accepted. Now, these are search terms that I'm highlighting right here. That's what you're going to want to put in Facebook Marketplace. Just make sure you confirm everything. Do not send any deposits or otherwise rents or anything else unless you actually go there. Watch them put a key in a doorknob, and even then, you need to verify ownership. Okay. Do not assume the landlord refuses vouchers simply because the listing does not mention it. Look, it's a good idea to bring a portfolio, present you as a good renter, and while you're in good agreement and you're well collected and have everything together, that's a time when you can break it to them and just kind of test the water. Number five, state housing finance agency directories. Many of you don't know about this. Every state has a housing finance agency that helps fund and monitor affordable housing. In other words, you want to find out when developers are done, when they're finally going to screw in the light bulbs and hang the doors, and the properties be available, then you can go to city planning and development, or you can go to the housing finance agency directories and find about properties that are just about to be published in the open market. It gives you a great advantage because you'll know weeks before anybody else does. So to find that, I've linked up a web address for you here, which is ncsba.org slash help dash help slash. So anyways, moving on from there, examples statewide housing lists. I'm going to include linkage. Now, these are just random. I'm not doing all 50 states. So I'm linked to Florida, Ohio, South Carolina, Washington, D.C., Texas, and Michigan. Okay. I left off some of the big obviouses like New York and California. I don't think it's necessary to go down that rabbit hole. But if you happen to live in one of those states, then remember what to do. Grab the notes that I'm going to put in this video. Okay. Search the city and county affordable housing databases. Another thing you guys don't know how to do. So, your city or county may maintain a separate list of affordable apartment communities. Remember that I talked to you about city planning and development? While it may not always be named that, you're going to find something very similar for virtually every township in America. Go down there and talk to them. They know exactly when they approve permits for the building to start, when it's going to be at the middle, and when it's going to be finished. And they also know the designation. They can tell you it's going to be low income. It's going to be Section 811, 202. They know whether it's going to be involved in Section 8. And therefore, that would be the wisest idea because you'll be able to time on your calendar weeks before this ever gets published and the first applicant. So it's a very good chance many clients have taken this advice and they ended up being the first person by nearly a mile applying before it even hit the news, right? All right. So in your city and county, maintain a separate list of affordable apartment communities, income restricted properties, housing trusts, fund developments, and inclusionary housing units, accessible apartments, senior disability housing, and landlords participating in the local voucher programs. Copy paste that list, bring it with you, hand it over to city planning and development, and ask them, okay, here's my list. This is what I'm looking for. You can also visit the city and county websites and search for the same things, and I've also included keywords for that as well. Look, the more effort you put into this, visiting in person is worth a hell of a lot more than a phone call. And that's suggesting that maybe a lot of cities just aren't going to pick up the phone or have the time to fool with you. You could call 211 as recommended here, but I would put it along the lowest tiers of things that probably will produce yield a fruitful result. Okay, but you're welcome to try. Often those resources or tend to be more inclusive of continuum of care programs for the homeless. So I don't know that it's going to produce that great a result, and not much different than a normal Google search or AI search. Okay, searching low income housing tax credit properties, low income tax or LIHTC properties. And so you look at these and you can find the database here. It's going to be at hudadvisor.gov LITCH, and I'll link that up for you again. It'll cover every property in the nation, and so that's very useful. But look, properties go under new ownership. Verify, 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 okay? Because you're not looking for a discount or a coupon. You're looking for somebody that participates directly under LIHTC, okay? Low income tax properties. And so we put up two different government databases for you there. After finding the properties, contact each one directly, ask whether it has vacancy, a waiting list, and whether applicants can use tenant-based housing choice vouchers or housing choice vouchers, and many of them are what you call mixed use. Moving on from there, we also have a search you can do for USDA rural properties. So you live outside the metropolitan area. For instance, I live in Houston. Then I could do a search of Harris County, which is the suburbs and beyond. And when you get into that, you can look at USDA multifamily housing rentals. And I put up two different links from government websites for you there. So that's a whole lot of information. And 50% of it, I'm almost certain most of you don't know about, okay? Other than the more casual things that are generally published on YouTube. That's why my list tends to be more exhaustive, because I've been at this much longer than most people. We've been making videos for about 15 years, combined with a career of 26 years working with clients at the federal level for housing, means that probably the videos and information I produce or usually come a lot more packed with actual information that's relevant to the market than a lot of people that are making tips and trick videos that do not have any experience as a consultant. So that being said, again, phone number, website, and email from my company. And again, though I'm not free, I am also strictly by appointment. If your local results don't yield much help to you, then you may consider some private options like my company or another out there that's qualified to do so. I've enjoyed making this video, and again, these descriptions and linkage all will be put in comment and in description. Enjoy your day, and we hope to see you again. Bye-bye.